There we go. We got the chat.
We going?
Awesome. We're going.
Holy smokes. I still can't see the chat going.
That's okay. So,
oh, yeah, I got it right here. Okay.
Everybody's saying I'm late. Yeah, we're late because we've had some technical difficulties. Bobby had to go take a dump, so that made him late.
Yeah, that was a bad deal.
Building some log cabins in there.
That was the second one of the day. I don't know what's going on. I think I've been eating too much McDonald's again. Bad deal. So we're up and rolling here.
Yes, we are. So, Bob, you do your thing.
Okay, well, I am glad to be here, guys. I know a lot of you watch both of us, Kansas Fisherman, Josh here. We started talking, when was it? The beginning of last season, probably October. I hadn't started yet, and hadn't started the channel yet. Was told a lot by all my buddies, like, dude, you got to do this, dude, you got to do this. So needless to say, putting your face in front of the camera was something that was a little struggle to get a hold of. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera or anything. I'm trying to get this chat going so I can see you guys too. It was a little struggle to really get comfortable in front of you guys, but I will say one thing for sure. Dude, straight up, all you subscribers that me and Josh share, and that especially Josh has built an awesome base. You guys, your positive feedback, I'll tell you what, for real, is one of the biggest motivators that has kept me coming back, making myself have a schedule, and sharing some of this, some of our experiences with you guys. You guys really make the circle complete the circle, for sure. So I want to thank all you guys for being here, for sure. But I've been hunting for a while. Me and my best friend Wade, I'm sure you've seen him in some of the videos. I think I really tried. I've said 12 years one time. I think I've said 15 years. Last night I sat down and actually tallied up how many years that I have been shooting ducks and geese, and it was since my junior year in high school. I am old balls, as most of you can tell. I am 30 years old. So 30 years old, that means I've been doing it somewhere around 12 years. So 12 years, and I'm just here to literally share what I can with you guys. There's a lot of information that me and Josh have been talking about, a lot of things that just, they're not out there on YouTube yet. And I'm talking about like some of the intricate things, some of the things that take 5 and 6+ years to learn, learning birds, learning how and where they fly, learning patterns of birds, learning how to scout roosts. I think that's one that's going to be coming up on my Fowl Friday tomorrow. Josh had a awesome scout how-to video on what was it, a couple weeks back or something. You did that one. So I'm gonna really hit scouting real hard here. Scouting is one of the primary ingredients to have any successful hunt, and I think you learn that real quick when you're like, what the hell, why aren't we shooting birds, So I'm here to help you guys, team up with Josh. We got a lot of big plans. It's really exciting. I like it.
So what we're going to be doing is Bobby, you need to turn your freaking volume off.
My volume?
Yeah.
Is that bad?
Or get some headphones.
Oh God, I got headphones.
Go find them. I'll talk.
Yeah.
So today, what we're going to be doing is leave some topics to talk about in the comments of this, and we'll kind of go through. We're going to try and keep it kind of short tonight. Maybe end at like 8:30, 8:40. We got kind of a late start because of the whatever. I'm echoing because I'm in a freaking giant room.
Probably echoing because of my audio. Let me find this thing too.
Yeah, that's probably it. But I mean, I can hear an echo in this room.
Hold on a minute.
But yeah, so leave some comments in the comment section, and then we'll go through and kind of talk about it. And yeah, if you guys want us to start doing this kind of on a regular basis, we're totally game for that, because this is just kind of a chance to connect with you guys and to answer some of your questions kind of real time. Unlike when I'm posting videos and having to edit and just days in between, this is real time. We're talking straight right here.
All right.
He said it's better now. It's better now.
Is that good?
The second you plug your headphones in, they say it's better.
Dude, sorry, bros, sorry. Learning this whole deal, so give me a little bit of time to learn. It's a bad deal. The struggle bus is real sometimes, guys, with learning this stuff and doing it for the first time. So I'm sure you all know that. I'm sure you guys watch plenty to understand all the struggles that YouTubers go through. What's the, I look like, I got tumors on the side of my head.
You look like a straight up Daryl.
I got straight up freaking tumors on my head, dude. So.
Okay, so first one is how valuable is a jerk cord? I would have to say that a jerk cord is probably like the most important piece of duck hunting equipment that you can have, other than like your gun, your call, your layout blind, and your waders. The jerk cord is obviously the next thing, because I've had hunts where I barely touch a call and we use a jerk cord and we killed limits so much easier than trying to actually call the birds in.
Right.
So I feel like a jerk cord is definitely one of the most overlooked pieces of duck hunting equipment, you could say. Like, granted, a lot of people know about the jerk cord, but they don't think to break it out in time.
Right, and you know, with jerk cords, you know, obviously talking about hunting over water, obviously with jerk cord, motion in general, especially if you're on water. Obviously, if birds look down on the water and don't see any ripples but see ducks there, they're going to be like, what the hell? So motion on the water, motion in the field with full body decoys or wind socks, motion is key. And like you had just stated, Josh, motion on the water is heavily overlooked, as far as the field too. You know, if there's no wind and if you're hunting a field and you're just like, why aren't these birds decoying? Well, they're here. Why aren't they decoying? Look at the wind. If you ain't got any wind and them decoys ain't moving, same in the water. You know, like you had said, it outweighs calling a lot of times. A lot of times, motion is everything.
Yeah, so along with like a jerk cord, you can get into like motion decoys, and you know, I'm a broke college student, so I can't really go out and buy like a $200 little robo.
They're expensive.
That swims around in the water. I mean, I feel like I've made my own jerk cords out of like one of those old, you know, those J-hook weights for your decoys. Mm-hmm. With like the little rubber strap, and you tie it on a line and it goes to your decoy. Well, I took one of those weights and I tied bank line to it, and then I tied loops in it, and then I just clip it to my Rig'em-Rights. I just made a jerk cord, and I like that jerk cord better than any jerk cord that comes from a store, because I used Adam's cord back like early November. We used it. I'm like, this thing's a piece of junk because it's way too stretchy, so you just had to rip on it like way far back, where with the one made out of bank line, you can just gently tug it and you get a lot more motion. There's less stretch, because the ones that you buy in the store, they're made out of like just this bungee material, and you can't get that hard motion with them. You can get it to where they're just kind of wiggling, but when you've got really still water and you're trying to get ducks from far away to notice you, you really want to yank that thing and get as much motion in that water as possible. So
yeah, for sure. And there's, like you're saying, saving money and making your own. There's 100 different ways. Literally, just open your mind. There's 100 different ways to make a jerk cord, especially on water. Man, if you're gonna be hunting a spot, literally, if you're gonna be hunting the same spot a lot during the year, take you a post, you know, a post and a post hole driver. take it out in the water, drive that sucker down so it's barely sticking out. That's where you can attach your cord halfway. You can tie, you know, floaters or whatever to that jerk cord and put some, you can weight the floaters down real heavy so they bounce more. There's 100 different ideas on jerk cords, and jerk cords will provide a way better hunt. We've had to use them on the river before, ponds especially, and they're just like the A-frame blind deal, man. A good A-frame blind are $500. If you want to save some money and build something that, you know, it may not be as good as an AVNX $500 blind that seats 3 people comfortable, not 4 like it states. I'm not talking smack, but I'm just saying the money that you can save by building your own stuff, tremendous. Try it out. You know, you can a lot of the materials you can probably find behind your dad's house in his junk pile or something a lot of times. So get crafty with it for sure.
Okay, so we just got a question asking about face paint or masks, why we don't use them. Well, face paint, in my own opinion, it's more for the hunter. It's more for them to feel more like their Duck Dynasty, you could say.
Yeah.
They're just trying to be more camouflaged, but I've killed every duck this season with no face mask, nothing over my face. It was just like this. I just keep my head down and keep my hat low so that I can still look at the birds, but I'm not face shining them. That's the biggest thing that I was taught when I first started duck hunting, was to never just stare up at the birds. You got to peek. You just got to look at the corners. And when you look out the corners, you're not going to flare the birds in. And especially when you're in like a layout blind, you can use that mesh and just kind of cover your face. But I honestly don't believe that your face is that big of a giveaway.
No.
I'm not too concerned about covering with.
Yeah, it was kind of one of them deals. It was like our first or second year, and my buddy Wade, he would use it from time to time when he would go hunt with maybe some other guys that were more experienced or something. Like there was a period where the face paint, back when you said like Duck Dynasty was around, probably what, 5-7 years ago, when it was, like you said, it makes you feel like you're the duck hunter, the whole deal. But I'll tell you what, I've never had to put anything on my face to have a better hunt or a more successful hunt. I wear my big old goggles that you guys see all the time. They are my spectacles, testicles, and they are prescription. They're self-tinting and better than contacts. I have contacts in now, so it wouldn't be glaring, or else I'd have them suckers on and be looking like a goon. But those things always glare, man. And as long as, like you said, you keep your head tilted away from the sun so it's not reflecting right back at them, you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go. A lot of people stress the little things, and as a beginner, it's easy to catch on to those little things and be bound by them and think you have to do it too. I'll tell you what, it's simple. It's simple. The most important things: scout, sit up according to the wind, and freaking shoot birds, man.
Yeah, because I've said this a million times just talking to people about duck hunting, and they're just like, how do you kill so many birds? And like, what's the trick to it? What calls do you use? And it doesn't come down to calling, doesn't come down to how big your decoy spread is. I normally just use a dozen floaters, and they're not any particular type. I've got Tangle Freeze, I've got the Academy House brand, and I've got Flambos in my dozen. Well, I've actually got 11 now because we shot one of them just for fun. But it was an end of the season hurrah kind of deal. It had a giant hole in the back of it, so we're just like, screw it, let's sink this puppy. But yeah, it comes down to finding the birds. Step one, find birds. If you don't find birds, you're not going to have any birds to kill. And once you find the birds, they're gonna stick to a pattern. They're going to have a roost, they're going to have a feed, they're going to have a loaf, and kind of a staging area, because once the birds come off the roost, they either go straight to the food or they stage. And I've seen this a bunch of times when I was hunting fields. fields where I was hunting, there's a river right next to it, and all the birds would stage on the river, and then at one time they would all get up, and then they'd come over and we'd shoot the crap out of them. Right. But you need to find out where they roost. You need to find out where they go once they come off the roost. You need to find out where the food is, and you need to find out where they go after they feed, because most of the birds that we shoot on our farm ponds come off of the food. They just ate, so they want a place to loaf. And then we get birds that only come from the food. That we noticed that this season was these birds only come from the food. They don't come from the roost. So right. It's all about finding that pattern, and it doesn't matter how good you call. It doesn't matter how big of a decoy spread you have. If you find the birds and you figure out where the pattern is, you're going to kill birds.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And I stress, like you're saying, it's finding the birds, man. There used to be a time when, and it's not like I talk about there's been a couple videos that I've talked about public land and private land and all that jazz. And like you've seen this year, you started the whole knocking on doors, farmers' houses, asking for permission, getting turned down, but still getting back out there and asking around. And once you get to that point, I'm going to tell you what, going from public land to private, oh my, you're not, there's no competing now. You know, like when you're on the public land, usually you're always going to be competing with somebody on that water or on that public property, and it affects it. It really does. So there used to be a time where I'm at, we have Cheyenne Bottoms, we have Quivira, then we have McPherson Wetlands, and then we have a little wetlands in Inman. And that used to be all that we hunted. When we started hunting, it was either the river that's 10 miles down from a house, or it was one of those three places that you had to drive at least 30 minutes to get to. And then you hope to get on that spot. Once you get comfortable driving, following the birds, get under them. When there gets a big wad, when a big wad gets off the roost, and the roost, I'm talking about where they're sleeping at night. So in the morning, when a big old flock gets up, you know that that's a big group. Put on the gas and drive that mother liquor. Drive it hard, stay under them, and get to the field, man. Get to the field. But if you can't get permission on that field that they're actually hitting, I've talked about it before, and you know, just like with bass fishing and waterfowl hunting, there's always the lingo, and trafficking. I've talked about trafficking birds. You have too, and you know, if you can't get on that field, you can always sit up in their flight path where they're getting off the roost and where they're going to eat. You can always sit up right there. And so you always don't necessarily have to be on what they call the X or whatever, but sometimes it's hard to traffic. You have to have some decoys to get the big group in. So there's always options. Get off that. If you want to better your hunts, get off public land and just try it out. The scariest thing is going and asking the farmer. The worst thing that can do you is tell you no. That's the worst.
Yeah, but I mean, I've had some really awesome hunts on public land. Like earlier this season, when public land was still pretty hot, that's all we were hunting was public land.
And you guys killed it. You guys killed it.
Once public land froze up, all the marshes froze, everything, just no birds. They were all concentrated on the refuge and then going out to fields because there was no water for them to feed in. So once they were there, and we were just like, well, we can't hunt this marsh. We tried it once. The ice was like that thick. It was cold, and the birds wanted to go to the fields. And so we were like, okay, well, we can either do one of two things. We can either call it a season, or we can go out and start knocking on doors. And I'm just like, you know, it is early December. I'm not gonna not hunt for 2 months. So we just got out there and started knocking on doors, and we found some really good spots, and then we just consistently scouted. And then talking about the trafficking thing is, I don't have more than, I mean, I've got 24 goose shells. I've got 24 Bigfoot decoys, and that's all I run in a field. And then, you know, I'm really not able to traffic birds with that many decoys. So I have to find out where the birds go and figure out, okay, this is where they're feeding. I need to set up here. And with that small amount of decoys, if you're where they want to be, you are golden. You're going to be able to kill birds and just kind of give them some confidence calls, call them on the corners, and they'll come in. We got a question about scouting and how would you recommend doing it if you only have like 1 or 2 days to hunt during the week? So like you work Monday through Friday and you have the weekends off. How do you find time to scout?
It's funny. This is funny how it's all winding up here, because tomorrow I literally cover that in this video that's already, it's on private, getting ready to go up. It's crazy you guys are asking these questions. But I'm the same way. I have a 40-hour-a-week job. I have a baby on the way, a 3-year-old, the whole 9 yards. And so I understand only being able to hunt those Saturdays and Sundays. I will say, though, what I found, if you really want to have at minimum 1 successful hunt on either Saturday or Sunday, make it, do whatever you can to scout Thursday and Friday, 2 days a week. And when I say 2 days a week, I'm not talking about Monday and Tuesday and then go hunt Saturday. Birds are dumb. Animals are stupid. They switch up one day and you're like, oh, they were here Tuesday. Well, it's 4 days later and they're not now. So Thursday and Fridays, man, if you're only able to get out in the afternoons, obviously do it. But if you can scout morning and evening, obviously you're going to really get their pattern down, and literally you won't have to look anymore. You go straight to the field right at sun up. You wait for them to get there. So one thing I'll add to that, which this is a really important fact that I had to learn the hard way this year, is the first time flare came down this year, man, I had fields set up. It was beautiful. He came in on a Friday night. That Friday at like noon, the temperature went from the high being like, 35, 32, whatever, normal, to literally teens. Teens was the highs. And that Friday night, it was 0 that night. Saturday, bad deal. The birds did not fly in the morning when it was that cold. When it got that bitter, for like 4 or 5 days, they did not fly in the morning. They'd finally get off their roosts at like 2:30 in the afternoon, feed late, and fly back. So if you see birds sitting on their roost, past 11, past 10, especially, I mean, that's way, way, way too late. Look at your old thermometer there and see if it's cold as balls out. And if it is, man, that's what's going on. They're huddled up on that water. They're trying to keep warm. Wind's probably blasting them. So there's always some variables to deal with, but they're all learnable with years and beautiful fellows like ourselves giving you that salty information.
That thing you said about the birds not getting off the roost, that same thing was happening to me. It was, what was that, like probably late December? No, because it was getting warm towards late December. It was like early, kind of middle of the second week of December-ish, sometime in there.
Right.
And yeah, it was freaking cold in the mornings. And the birds didn't fly until like 4, so you had like maybe 45 minutes to shoot birds. It was a difficult time, but then things warmed up, things got hot again, and it was definitely a good time.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right, what's a different question so we can get off scouting? I think we've beat the dog completely dead.
Okay. People are asking about turkey hunting.
Right.
I'm planning on turkey hunting, but we've got like I think season opens on like April 12th for shotguns. But I drove past the field I'm gonna hunt. I think it was like a week ago, and there's like 60 turkeys in that field. So haven't had too much time or effort or weather to scout, but I'll be getting it done here pretty quick.
Right. Turkeys. My deal with turkeys. I love, me personally, I love going and turkey hunting. If any of you been, it's exciting. You put the decoys out there. It's kind of like waterfowl hunting, you know, decoys, calling, getting them on a pattern, the whole 9 yards. The only problem I have with turkey hunting is that it's boring as shit to watch. Like, to watch it, it's like watching ice form. It's just like deer hunting. Like, if you have watched archery season or rifle, it don't matter. If you watch the Outdoors channel, I mean, tell me that it doesn't get boring watching them sit there and whisper in the camera with no action. So I love me some turkey hunting, but I'll probably only do like one video of that, just because just, you know, I work that 40-hour job, so the videos that I do put up, I want them to be as entertaining as possible. And turkey hunting, it's just kind of like deer. It's boring to watch. So that's my take on it. I love it, but it's just not the most exciting to watch. So if you guys really want some turkey hunting, I mean, we can crank them out. Turkey, they're easy to just go out and freaking smoke, dude. I mean, but that's why I'm so attracted to waterfowl so much, is because, and I'm sure you're the same way. When sometimes it is a struggle filming it, cold, hands froze, batteries dying like a son of a gun left and right. You got your dang chargers out everywhere. Them suckers are dying. Cameras literally won't work like under 20 degrees. But when you come back and your audio's good, the video quality's there, like, it is seriously an accomplishment. And when you make them good ones, man, you guys obviously like them. They're action packed. They're fun, man. They're fun. Go ahead.
Luke says that he's never watched ice form, which I can say that we have, because remember that day we got out of our waders and they stood straight up? That's ice form.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever had that happen where you get out of your waders and they stand by themselves?
Oh yeah, dude. I've had some straight up cold river hunts. There's a little town that's about 15 miles away that my buddy has some ground on, and that's where we do all of our river duck hunting. And the mallards, literally, they pile in this little narrow, tall trees, tall banks on both sides. They pile in this thing. But when the wind gets whipping down that river, dude, oh my God! Like, they get so icy and stiff. It's like your Tin Man, dude. It's
Oh,
bad.
it sucks. It sucks, especially
Oh, yeah.
if you're like in the marsh and then you bend and your knees will not bend because there's so much ice on your waders. You're just like, oh crap, how am I supposed to do this? So you just end up sticking your legs straight out and you shooting birds like this, sitting on the ground.
Oh yeah.
If you can.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the elements in waterfowl hunting are real. They are real.
Yeah, I had, let's see, it was that day where Luke goes, I killed a goose. And I guarantee you, I had frostbite on my thumb because my skin bubbled up and like I couldn't feel my thumb for a few days. And then my skin started to peel. It was bad, but that was the coldest day of the year, I think. And then it was just like 30-mile-an-hour winds. There was sleet and snow and just, oh, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was just a bad idea to go out that day.
Yeah, it is, and that's, dude, and straight up, you mentioned that, like, when it's that cold, when it's, you know, high in the teens, and then you have a 20-mile, 15-mile-an-hour wind, I mean, straight up, it's dangerous. This year was the first time, like you had just mentioned, I got frostbite on my thumb. Didn't really understand it at first. I knew my thumb had gotten extremely cold, but like for 2 weeks after that, the skin just kept peeling and peeling and peeling, like over and over layers. I was like, holy cow! And the old wifey, she's a nurse, so she was like, man, I think you literally froze that sucker. So it's dangerous, man. It is. In that cold weather, it can get bad.
All right, Bobby, here's the real question. How many bands have you shot?
the old band deal. It's kind of like you guys when you shoot them. Everybody wants to claim the damn thing, but me personally shooting. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. If more than one person shoots at the same time, we'll usually draw shells. So we'll pick like 5 shells, put them in a hat, and like whoever, it only makes it fair. That's the way we do it. And you draw a shell just like you draw a straw. Me personally, smoking it, I've shot 2 ducks and it's been a lot, probably 3 or 4 goose bands around there. No more than that, that's for sure. So probably a handful of geese, and I did shoot a banded teal. That's my coolest one that I've done yet, is a banded blue-winged teal, so green-winged teal. So that's my coolest one for sure. I want to shoot, my true goal is to shoot a banded pigeon. I want a banded pigeon badly. Badly.
I've got a big old goose egg for some bands. Like,
right.
It's almost ridiculous how many birds we've shot and none of them have been banded.
Yeah.
It just kind of makes you wonder, like the ones that you shoot in the marsh and then they just dive and they're gone forever. That's the banded duck for the season.
Hey, you could always do the old shady trick and buy some off eBay.
I ain't about that.
Yeah, there's people that make me wonder how they fill up their entire lanyard with them things. But you know, a lot of guides out there. I got a buddy from Wichita, and man, he has a stack of bands. They have an area, banded birds. I don't know what's up with it, but banded birds just go there. It's crazy. Something about when they band them in groups, that group usually sticks together. You know, if they're hatched, if those birds are hatched together and they're banded together on the same date, he's got a lot of bands that are from the exact same place in Alaska on the exact same year. So that's what I'm assuming, is they just band a group, and that group, a hatch, will usually stick together and migrate together. So I haven't got lucky to get in an area like he's in for sure, because he kills it. It's not fair.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day when I shoot a band, and I'm gonna probably just rip my waders off and just start swimming around in the pond because I'm gonna be so happy.
It's crazy. It's like the heavily banded ones, like they're smart or something. Like they inbreed these things just to be clever as hell. And my buddy that actually shoots all the bands last year spotted a blue goose, if you know what that is, white front.
No.
What?
A blue goose is a snow goose.
Same thing. Blue goose with the gray on it, snow goose, whatever. They're all the same, man.
They're the same thing, but not white front. White fronts are speckled bellies.
I always refer to snows as whites if you're hunting in white or hunting white.
Grease chickens.
Yeah, just old sky grease chickens. He spotted this dang bird with a neck collar and an electric leg band. Electric leg band. Oh, and it was like in a park. And there was like 4 other birds because he had his spotter scope. And I guarantee you the reward for that bird, you're looking, I mean, some of them birds, I've heard the electric bands will be like $1,000 return reward if the band's not messed up or something, so they can track all the data of where it actually was. So if you come across one of them things, go net that son of a gun. I'm kidding. Don't do that. That's illegal.
Okay, so we got a question here for favorite kind of goose decoys for fields: shells, socks, Bigfoot, silhouettes. I've hunted over Bigfoots, I've hunted over shells, I've hunted over silhouettes, and they all do the same thing. I mean, if you're on the X, you're where the birds want to be, you've done your scouting, you did the homework. If you have anything that looks like the bird on the ground and you have a few of them and you can call, you're gonna get them in. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have a personal opinion. I love my Bigfoot decoys. I had one fly out of my truck at 55 miles an hour on the highway, and it lived to tell the tale. So, you know, Bigfoots are nice. You get the full bodies. They just look really realistic. But your shells, they do the same thing. When the birds are looking down, they're going to see the shells, and you know what I'm saying? It's basically you're having bodies where the bodies should be. So then you're convincing the birds to come in.
And yeah, to add to that, okay, geese can see well, sure, but they're not gonna be able to tell if you have a high dollar flocked decoy compared to a non-flocked shell or something. That they're not gonna be able to tell. Now, having full bodies on stakes that rotate, I do believe in that. That's something that I do favor a lot, to have a primary spread of, is decoys on stakes, or like tangle free or avians. They are a stake system with a bungee that clips, so when they rotate, it pulls them back and forth. It just gives more motion. So if I was to say favorite type of decoys would be anything on a stake, but you can also use, you know, shells and socks and stuff, and the cheaper stuff to fill in. I mean, if you come across good deals on that stuff, all them buy sell trade sites or whatever, snatch them up, man. Snatch them up. No decoy is a bad decoy, that's for sure. Especially when you're starting out and you're building your spread. No decoy is a bad decoy.
Yeah, I mean, I've shot ducks over $20 Flambos I bought at Walmart when they were on sale for like $6.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've shot ducks over Dakotas. I mean, they don't care. They just want to be there, and you're just convincing them with the decoys. You're just like, it's like you want to go to the ice cream store, but now there's a sale where you get a free scoop or something. So now you're just, that's kind of what your decoys do. If you do your homework, like we've talked about with scouting, you're gonna be able to find where the birds go, and then once you're there, you put your decoys out, and you're just kind of adding that little sprinkle on top to convince them to come in.
One thing I do to add to decoys, though, one thing that will get you, that I found, is if you sit up in the morning like usual, get up before the sun up, and it's really dewy outside. If it's real dewy and the backs of your full bodies or shells get wet, and then if it's cold enough for that to freeze, it will get a glare on them, especially if it's sunny out. If it's cloudy, obviously that glare isn't going to be as bad. The backs are going to look a little white maybe, but I will say if it's sunny out, you'll get that glare. I have no tricks up my sleeve to prevent that. I would say go spray some salt water on them, but you're probably going to end up ruining your decoys somewhere along the lines. That's one thing that we fight a lot, is getting frost on the backs of decoys.
I've got a trick for that. I've seen a trick. You take a blowtorch.
Here we go.
You take a blowtorch when they're frosted over. You take a blowtorch and you just dust them real quick, and that gets the frost off of them.
I'm scared. I'm scared to do that. We just literally paid an arm and a leg for avian X's, and oh my God, taking any flame to them, I'd probably have to do a hot knife video or something like that.
That's a good idea.
See, there you go.
1,000-degree knife on a decoy.
See, there you go. Let's whack the head off of it.
A little late on that one though.
Yeah,
but
a little gone.
Yeah, if you just go quick, it's like running your finger over the top of a lighter. It's warm, but it's not going to burn you. So if you just go quick across, that water is going to melt really quick. So it just flows right off.
And having 20 or 25 dozen deeks out and having to go torch each one, oh my God, I'd have to hire me like a clan of kids to pay them $7 an hour and run around like little elves and do that. So for me, I haven't found crap that works, man.
I'll just sell you Luke.
There, see, he's used to that stuff, man. Old Luke, down for whatever.
No joke. Seriously, Luke comes up with the craziest stuff. Like,
if you hear a crying, should you hear a crying child in the background right now?
I do.
Do you? Okay. Yeah, she's not happy, so I can't escape any farther away than I already am. So I am
It's okay.
sorry.
We're almost done here. It's 8:45 already. But
Oh wow.
yeah, leave it in the comments. Let us know if you want to see us do these again, because we're totally willing to do these, because we like answering your questions live and kind of having that connection. And I don't know, I like this idea a lot. I like having the live stream content, you could say,
Yeah.
just kind of just rolling with it.
I would say for sure, like, especially when we're done here. I know you guys have been reading some comments that I wish we could hit them all, but when we're done, drop some heavy comments down. And if you guys react to this well enough, I mean, like me and Josh talked about, we can do this every week deal. He has waterfowl Wednesdays, I have fowl Fridays. So if we just did it every Thursday, it might be a wham bam, thank you ma'am type of deal. So if you guys enjoy this stuff, man, let us know for real. We're interested in doing this. I enjoy it.
Come to Louisiana. Yeah, I'll actually be coming to Louisiana in October. Gonna get on some redfish.
There you go.
Dope.
That'd be fun.
So yeah, that's all we've got. We're gonna end it here. I don't want to make these super long, because sometimes when you make them too long, they just kind of,
yeah, it's
fizzle
crazy.
out.
It's crazy. We've ate up this 43 minutes. 43 minutes is what we're at. That's crazy.
Man, that's, yeah. But we got this. We got this down. We're gonna be able to just whip it right up next time, and we'll be good to go. So once I publish this video, it'll be live, so you can come back and watch it. So like if you missed a part, you can come back and watch it. But leave in the comments once this is live questions for next time, so then I can have those up and we can write them down for next week, and we can just roll with it.
Yeah. Yep. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's all we got. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. And we got 2 new videos coming up, one on my channel tomorrow and one on Bobby's channel tomorrow. So go check out Bobby's channel, BobbyGuyFilms.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
show
Thank you,
some
sir.
support.
Heck yeah, man.
But
Ready to dive into waterfowl together and see what we can do for you guys, man, for sure. I'm excited.
all right, thanks for watching, guys, and we will catch you later.